Now we're testing the higher functions of his brain. The first thing we will do is to test the language. We'll see how fluent he in his language. Can you say something? The weather is beautiful today. Good. And now, what's the name of this thing on your hand? This is a watch. And what about this one here?
This is a polo shirt, a button.
A button. And what's the name of this?
This is a thumb.
This is thumb. Great. Now, can you repeat after me? The sun is bright today.
The sun is bright today.
Fantastic. Now, I'll give you something to read, and then you will read one sentence from this book.
The fire matter is a very thin, transparent membrane.
Good. And I'll give you a piece of paper, and please write for me a sentence there. Thank you. Now, the last thing about the language is to see his reception and his production, i.e. expression, which we really tested when we're doing all of these tests on the language, because we asked him a question and he understood what we meant, and then he gave a proper answer. That is the expression, so there is no point in repeating it. But if we would repeat it, I will do. What's your name?
My name is Muhammad.
So he understood that we were asking him about his name, and then he gave us the right answer. Thank you. Now we'll test other component of higher function, which is memory. I will ask him about immediate memory, things that about things he did today. So what time did you wake up this morning? 7:30. And what did you have for lunch yesterday? Where were you last Friday?
I was in our farm.
You were in our farm. That's good. So we tested the immediate memory and the remote memory. I'll give you a number, and I want you to remember it, and then I will ask you to tell me what was that number. It's a telephone number, 553-2760. Can you repeat it for me?
553-2760.
Great. And I'll ask you about what is the National Day of Jordan?
It's on the 25th of May,
1946. Great. And then what was the day of your birth?
31st of January 1998.
Great. Third component of the higher functions, we'll ask about the orientation. I will ask him, do you know who I am?
Yes, you're Dr. Walid.
Okay. And where are we now?
In the clinic.
In the clinic. And what's the time?
It's 9:30.
9:30. Now, the last item to be tested in the higher mental functions would be the few other cognitive functions, like calculations, for example. Can you tell me what's 5 by 5?
25.
Okay, what's 10 plus 10 plus 13? 33. Great. Now, can you do for me 100 and take out of it 7 at a time and go backwards?
Okay, 100, 93, 86, 79, 72.
Now, I'll give you a few things, and you tell me what's the odd one out. A door, a window, a floor, and an apple. An apple. Why? Great. Now we will test his reasoning. I will ask him something and ask him why this is what it is. During the day when the sun is shining and bright, which is longer, your shadow at midday or in the afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Why?
The sun is not right above me, it's to the side, so the shadow is down.
Thank you. And we know we have to check or look at his personality and behavior, as we can see that his behavior is quite good, and he's reasonable and collected. To start with, we have to assess the level of consciousness. This is done through measuring 3 components, one to do with the eye opening, the other one is the verbal response, the third is the motor response. A normal person, awake person, would score 15 out of 15 The lowest score you would get is 3 out of 15. In matter of fact, a dead person would score 3 out of 15. Now we will see how we can get all the components and measure his level of consciousness. We will try to test the three components now. We can see that his eyes are open, so we'll give him spontaneously, so we'll give him 4 marks for that. And then we will ask him a question, and we will see what sort of response he will give us. What's your height in centimeters?
185 centimeters.
185. So that's an appropriate response. So he gets the full mark, 5 marks for that. And then we will try to ask him to do a motor function and see what he can do. Can you make a fist and put your hand in front of your face? Okay, great. So he gets 6 for that. So 6, 5, and 4 makes 15. So he's 15 over 15 on the Glasgow Coma scale.